Hi, good day to each and every one of you. This is once again your friend. My name is Eric Aniga and welcome to my channel, Frederick Aniga ang Bisadya. Well, it has been long since my last video. Pasaylo agad ko because, I just got out from my 14-day quarantine. Yes, you have heard it right. I got positive of COVID-19. That is why, lesson learned, dili gazud ta magkumpiyansa. Though I am fully vaccinated, but I have to take care of my mother who first got positive of COVID-19, and I have to take care of her. That is why I also got positive. So, fortunately, my mother was also fully vaccinated. Only that, what man mag-ingon nga if you are vaccinated, dili nakapwede nga matakdan sa COVID-19. It's just that your immune system and your resistance will be stronger against the virus if you are fully vaccinated. So because of that, we were isolated for 14 days, and that is why. So aside from always wearing face mask, always observe physical distancing. Always observe physical distancing and constant washing of hands. Constant washing of hands, because these are the only ways that we will keep ourselves safe from COVID-19. But thanks God, we are able to survive, and here I am back again. Well, today I would like to discuss a topic that was asked by one of my viewers, and I am happy because I realized that I am able to help students who are reading and following my videos. I am able to help them in their assignments, or perhaps there are discussions in the class which they did not fully understand, and by viewing my videos they have a full understanding of the topics that were discussed by their instructors. So this is actually a question by GCM TV. And he asked me about the difference between conclusion and assessment. So today we are going to talk about what is conclusion and what is assessment, and if ever they have relationship, and what is their difference. But if this is your first time to watch my video, kindly click the like button and also share my video so that other students, other people will also learn from the video that I am uploading. And of course, please subscribe my channel, Frederick Aniga ang Bisadya. So, what is conclusion? In logic, we talk about conclusion because there is what we call syllogism. A syllogism is a group of statements, sentences, statements or sentences in which they are interrelated with each other, and the final statement is called conclusion. Every day in our life, we make conclusion, whether we are conscious of it or not. When we do make a final statement about anything, that is a conclusion. For example, makakita ka og bata nga nanglimpyo, then we will say, limpiado ng bataa. That is a conclusion. If you see, for example, somebody who keeps on helping other people, na makakita og tiguwang, mutabang, makakita og bata, mutabang, makakita og buta, mutabang, then after observing all these events, you will say, that person is helpful. Matinabangon ang maong tao. So when you say that, that is a conclusion. Okay? So, in every moment of our life, you say, boring ang movie. That is a conclusion. Maganda ang disco. That is a conclusion. So whenever we make a final statement about an event or a person, that is a conclusion. No? A child who keeps on getting high scores in his examinations, and during oral exams or recitation, he or she can readily answer the questions, then you will say, that child is intelligent. So by saying that child is intelligent, that is a conclusion. Okay? So, before making a conclusion, before you make a conclusion, you have certain observations. Just like my example earlier about a child, when you say that child is helpful, matinabangon ang maong bata, you have seen first that he helped an old woman, he helped a child, he helped a blind person. So there are instances, or there were events that led you to make that final statement or conclusion, that child or that individual is helpful. So those events that were made as basis in your conclusion, that's what we call as premises or premise. So the premises are our basis before we can make a conclusion. That is why in some instances, somebody would say, please do not jump into a conclusion because you do not know the history about it. No? Mahirap sa isang tao na magbigay ng konklusyon kung hindi mo alam ang sitwasyon. So you say, for example, oh, that child is kulang ng pansin. Ang batang yan ay nagpapansin. And that is a conclusion. When you say, ang batang yan ay talagang papansin, kulang sa pansin, KSP, that is a conclusion. But if you do not know the background of the child, paano siya lumaki, then that conclusion is not correct. By the way, conclusion can also be called judgment. Conclusion can also be considered judgment. So when you make conclusion, when you conclude, you judge. Ang batang yan ay mabait. Ang batang yan ay matulungin. That mother is responsible. All these statements are conclusion and they are judgment. Okay? So is this clear what we mean by conclusion? And that is why, as a rejoinder, there are instances that our conclusion is not correct. No? Our conclusion is erroneous if such conclusion is based on wrong premises or wrong basis. Lalo na pag if your premises are not true. If your premises are just based on the story created by other people. No? Yung mga chismis, yung mga haka-haka, and all those baseless statements, if that will be the basis in making a conclusion, then most likely the judgment or the conclusion that you will make is erroneous and not true and correct. So when we make a conclusion, make sure that the basis, that the premises or the antecedents of your conclusion are true, factual. No? There are factual basis. Meron talagang evidence or ebidensya before you make a conclusion. So when you say, when you judge, and when you conclude that that teacher is not good, then what are your bases? what are the reasons, what are the antecedents, or what are the premises for you to say that that teacher is not good? Because if your bases are not correct, are not true, are not factual, then the conclusion that you will make will also not be correct and true. So I hope I have explained clearly what do we mean by conclusion. Now let us proceed to the second point, that is assessment. What is assessment? In the class, when we speak about assessment, this refers to the conduct of quizzes or examination that will test the status of the learning of the pupils. If the teacher would like to know how much have the students or the learners have learned from the lesson that just have been presented by the teacher. No? So after the lesson, the teacher would like to test whether or not the students or the pupils have learned, then the teacher will conduct an examination, a short quiz, or an oral recitation. So that is an assessment. Assessment is a process or is an activity that will determine the present status of something or of anything. So for example, a municipal mayor would like to know what is the health status of the people in a certain barangay, then he will send siguro personnel from the DSWD or from the RHU in order to conduct weighing, no? What is that? Wini-weigh, tinitimbang ang mga bata, no? In order to know what is the average weight of the babies or the toddlers. So that is an assessment, trying to establish what is the status of the nutrition or the health of the babies in a certain barangay. Peace and order situation, for example, the PNP would conduct an ocular visit. No, they would go to a certain barangay in order to know, in order to assess the peace and order situation in that particular place. So when we speak of assessment, this is merely to check, no? To check, tinitingnan, to check the status of something. Okay? So there are a lot of ways in order to assess, depende kung ano ang gusto mong malaman na estado, no? The state or the present condition of something. Okay? So, assessment, ina-assess, nag-assess ka. No? Take note, it is different from assist. Huh? Assist is to provide support, no? Assistant. No? So please, it should be clear, assessment and assistance. Assessment is to check the present condition. What is the learning status of the grade 3 pupils? So you will conduct a test or an examination. So the result will tell you how much have the learners in grade 3 learned from the lesson which started from August until December. So assessment, tinicheck mo ang, for example, you want to check the taste of the food being prepared by a caterer. So maroon tayong tinatawag na taste test, and that is an assessment. Sa TESDA, for example, before you are given a driver's license, you have to undergo certain tests, written and actual, and these are forms of assessment to know the level of your skill in driving. So these are the different forms of assessment. Assessment is a process in order to check the level or status of a condition or of anything. No? Ina-assess mo, tinitingnan mo ang kalagayan. What is the status? And so, going back to the original question, is there a relationship or is there a difference between conclusion and assessment? Of course, there is a big difference because conclusion is one thing and assessment is another thing. But you see, with the result of the assessment, then you can make a conclusion. So after the personnel from DSWD or from the RHU, after they have weighed, no, after nilang tinimbang ang mga bata sa isang purok o sa isang barangay, then they will make a report to the municipal mayor saying that the babies in Barangay Concepcion are healthy. That is a conclusion, and they were able to make a conclusion based on the result of the assessment conducted in Barangay Concepcion. So when the PNP personnel would report to the mayor that Barangay Ulisihan is a peaceful barangay, that is a conclusion, and that conclusion is reached after they have made or conducted an assessment in Barangay Ulisihan by conducting an ocular inspection or an ocular visit. No, that was actually an assessment. So you see, that is how we can relate conclusion and assessment. We can make a sound, a good conclusion based on the result of an assessment. So I hope I am able to shed light to your question about the difference between conclusion and assessment. And if ever you have more questions, I would be more delighted to make a video for this, because I know that with this video I am able to help students learn their lesson. And once again, thank you for watching my video. I hope you learned something from this, and please do not forget to share this video so that more students will be able to watch this video and learn from it. And of course, do not forget to subscribe my channel, Frederick Aniga, ang Bisatsa. Daghang salamat sa imong pagtanaw, and be safe always.